Hey guys, Adam here. I originally started out with a bunch of talking in this video, walking you through step-by-step instructions on what I was going to do, which is build a workbench. It wound up being about 50 minutes long, and I sounded really stupid, so instead of boring you all to death, I thought I'd post a funny picture of myself and edit out all the talking parts and instead just do voiceover work. So here I am, looking dumb. This is the tool I'm going to be using. It's the Kreg pocket hole jig. Mine looks very similar to this. That's not it exactly. And Kreg on their website has got a number of neat projects you can do with their pocket hole joinery. And this is the one I'm going to be working on right now. It's just a really simple workbench. So to start out, I've got my miter saw set up, and I've got my plans. I've got a bunch of junky 2x4s, and I'm just in my garage cutting away. The main thing to do here is to keep your fingers out of the saw, but additionally, you want to make sure you cut every piece exact, because one thing with the Kreg system is it does kind of rely on good square end cuts, and as you can see, I'm making quite a mess. I've sort of modified this plan a little bit to fit my need. I've how do I put this? Changed the depth. I've made it more narrow. But anyway, so I got all the pieces cut, and now you can see I'm fixing to start drilling my pocket holes. The cutting of the pieces, it doesn't take nearly as long as you'd think, and the drilling the pocket holes, it takes even less time if you've got the jig set up. And there you can see that stop collar is the key, and it's nice to have the drill bit with the hex attached, or hex cut into the bit itself. So I'm just going to drill this first hole, and I just kind of line these up by eyeballing, and they don't have to be exact. You don't have to go through the trouble unless you just want to of marking every hole. I just sort of eyeball it and get close. And here you can see I bumped the sawdust out, and there it is, the first pocket hole drilled. So let's speed things up a bit. As you can see, at 16x, it doesn't take long at all to drill these holes. But really, it takes probably about 30 to 45 minutes to drill all these holes if you take your time. The big thing is having everything set up. Preparation. Preparation is the key. So once I get all these done, I begin the assembly of the face frames themselves of this workbench. Now, one thing I didn't show you was I drilled some additional pocket holes, but once you've seen 50 pocket holes drilled, you don't need to see any more. So the assembly goes pretty fast, and one thing to keep in mind is when you're using dimensional lumber, you're only going to get the product so square. I mean, you really have to cut each one of these pieces on a table saw or something to really make sure you're working with square material. So once again, you just kind of get it close. This is just a workbench. It's not going to go inside the house. It's just going to kind of be in my garage. So there goes the first one, and the first frame, and then there goes the second one. And it really goes fast. I tell you, one thing you got to have, though, is those Kreg screws. You can't cheap out and just use deck screws or anything like that. You got to have the Kreg screws. So once you get the two frames built, you just build the what I call the middle pieces, and there it is. The frame is built. Just a couple of hours work, and you've got it all done. So the real pain in this project is cutting the plywood. Very few folks have a table saw that can handle it, or at least very few folks I know, or any kind of a panel saw to get it done. So I just wind up making a big mess, but the bottom shelf fit, and then I cut the two top shelves, and that's it, folks. We're done.